Cheers, legends. Sammy from Short and Stout Beer Reviews. We've got a Aussie collaboration beer, an oat cream IPA. So it's by Co-Conspirators, and they're out of Brunswick in Melbourne, and Banks Brewing, and they're out of Seaford, which is just southeast of Melbourne. So two fairly local breweries. Love the can artwork. Always awesome Co-Conspirators can artwork. And it's called SABROTAGE. So it's obviously got Sabro, the hop in it. It's 6.5%, 440ml can. And yeah, brewed at Co-Cons. It does have some other hops in it too. It says it's predominantly Sabro, but also Citra, Lupamax, and Eldorado. Contains lactose, bean, and oat cream. But yeah, that can artwork's so sick. They always have these different characters. And yeah, they sort of like, some of them will like carry over to other beers. But yeah, it's like a it's like a business deal trading Sabro hops. But I've had Four Loco earlier on and a couple of cheap lagers, and I wanted to finish the night on something decent. So I'll be off to bed shortly. I've had a massive day at work, so I'm very tired. But yeah, wanted to finish the night on a high. So yeah, Banks are one of my favourite breweries, and Co-Cons are pretty good as well. So cheers to Tater and Susie in the chat. Good to see you again. Should probably be another fairly quiet review. Just it's that time where US folk are in bed, or the UK peeps are sort of just getting up or at work. But yeah, let's get into it. I've got my hashtag proper glassware, my Banks glass. It's like me, but in like 50 years. Oh, yeah. I think this was brewed about a month ago. I've still got some US stuff in the fridge, and I've got some like dark stuff. But yeah, as far as IPAs go, I thought I better drink this one because it's still relatively fresh. Looks pretty tasty. And yeah, pardon my tiredness and also my hay fever. I'm like a bloody wounded Labrador at the moment. So paws are very bright orange. It's very, very bright. It's about a 2-finger head, like white foamy head. Carbonation's fairly light. I would say cloudy. It's not like full on haze, but it's just like really like a dark orange. It sort of looks a bit funny in my camera, but yeah, it's not quite that dark. But yeah, looks very different. Let's go a whiff. Smells good. So I'm getting that coconut that you get sometimes from Sabro, so that's good. I'm getting some pine, some like sort of damp forest, like wet grass, like wood. There's definitely some citrus there, some grapefruit, like orange and lemon. Maybe some passion fruit. It's quite complex. Cheers, Dan. Welcome in all. Ah, smells really nice. But the more I'm smelling it, it's quite citrusy. Like the colour is sort of true to like the notes you're getting from the hops. Not that that does anything, but it's just like a good match. As far as the base goes, I would say like a mixture of sort of bread and biscuit. But yeah, I reckon there'd be like oats, wheat, and then yeah, the lactose sweetness adds a bit more body. And maybe even some mango. Anyway, I'm keen as to get in. This one smells awesome. Cheers, boys and girls. Ooh, it's got some bitterness on it. I like it. So yeah, it's like really juicy, but it's got some bitterness that kicks in like straight away. It's not dank, but yeah, it's just got this like piney, woodsy sort of bitterness. Very enjoyable. So yeah, Co-Cons when they first hit the scene, and they were like a smaller sort of gypsy brewer. They had a lot of hype, and they used to like collab with other breweries and just do these like limited edition beers and that, and did really well. Then they started their own brewery, and they sort of slid a little bit, but I reckon they've been a lot better recently. Um, every now and then they sort of have some hits and misses, but yeah, I've always been a fan. I like when they do sort of limited edition, like dark stuff, because they don't do them very often, but when they do, they like really go all out, like with barrel aging and yeah, just like complex malts and stuff. It's so windy outside. Last few days has been like really nice weather, and then today just went to shit again, like a winter's day. Like cold, or not, it was sort of cold throughout the day. In the morning, it was actually muggy. Like, when you have hot weather and then you can tell it's going to storm and it gets real like muggy and sticky. That's what it was like. Yeah, boy. Yeah, I'm having an oat cream IPA, brother. She's like bright orange. Good one to finish tonight, whether I finish it or not. But I was thinking about cooking some smash burgers. I had like a bite to eat sort of after work. Pardon me, because I didn't have lunch at work. I was going to have lunch when I got home from work, but then I ended up working 3 hours extra, and I was like, oh, now I'm just going to go home and I'm going to be starving. So I cooked up some food when I got home, but now because like I had that food earlier on, it's like I haven't had dinner now. So, ooh, that sounds good. Jalapeno, fuck yeah. Is it spicy or is it just sort of like a faint hint of chili there, like but nothing major? If it's quite spicy and you're really feeling it, wait, wait till you take a pee tomorrow. I've had some chili beers that have been really spicy, and I never really thought of it. Like I think of spicy food and like obviously pooping the next day, but when you have drinks that have like spice in them, and then yeah, you piss, it's like ooh. I remember one day at work after I had a real spicy couple of beers the day before. It wasn't good. With this beer, It's obviously two breweries involved. It definitely tastes more like a Co-Conspirators beer, but I feel like Banks has had some good output because yeah, it's like ugh, sort of lifted the quality of a Co-Cons beer. You sort of wonder if they actually brewed it together or was it just like sent a few emails, a few phone calls. I gotta remember to take a photo of this one. Yeah, cool. Yeah, it'd be fucking freezing where you are. Are you like snowed in? I don't know if I told you too, dude. I'm part of that death poll now as well. Um, I wanted to get in on it, and then I sort of forgot about it. And because he did it at a time where it was sort of shit for me, like I was still in bed, like middle of the night. I'm like, fuck, I missed it, and I seen you were in it, and I was like, oh, that'll be awesome. There's like some different people in there, and then I went and I watched most of the replay just to see who people picked. And there was a couple of names I had that no one had picked. So I'm like, fuck yeah, I'm going to do it. I'm just going to message him. I gave him a list of about 18 names and he said, like, all my picks went through. So should be good. I've got all these young people. So I'm probably a very slim chance one of them dies. But if they do, I'll probably end up going really well because they're all so young. And I tried to make it so it was all people that you guys would know. I could have picked a heap of Aussie people. I just put one Aussie politician and that was it. Everyone else was like sort of well known, mainly American people. There might have been a few English. Yeah, it'll be good. But yeah, there's so many people related to P. Diddy that I was thinking of. And like um yeah, the seedy Hollywood fuckers and that are in trouble and yeah, like Prince Andrew was one I thought of, and that Harvey Weinstein or whatever the fuck his name is. Yeah, cool. Now I'd never heard of it until Joey until I first met Joey a couple of years ago. And I'm like that. It's I don't know. Like as much as it's sort of fucked up and morbid, yeah. It's like it's just something funny about it. Joey Joey said he looks up like types in Google like which famous people have like life threatening illnesses, shit like that. Thing with my list too is I tried not to put people in there I liked. So there's sort of some like anger behind a lot of them as well, like people I don't that irritate me. But yes, I'll pour a little bit more and then I better keep some for the photo. How's old mate's moustache on the on the right? I didn't realise they're like glasses are like reflective and shit. That's cool. Sabotage. Yeah, it's got. I can't stand it. I know you're playing it. That's cool. Yeah, they look like your old school cops. Cheers, Matt. Yeah, yeah. One thing I need to do is purchase more beer. With the Christmas period, a lot of the Aussie breweries sort of shut down for a bit just to reset and like they sort of slow down their brewing and then start up again sort of mid-January. So a lot of my favourite breweries that I get like weekly releases off, I haven't got any for a few weeks. So it's like, yeah, I'm starting to like think, shit, I'm gonna need some beers soon. But yeah, possibly going to the city this weekend. See what happens. I just want to go on one of my Sammy adventure days where I sometimes I'll just get on the train, travel a couple of hours just by myself, and just go to like a handful of breweries or bars and go for something to eat somewhere and maybe check out like some street art or a gig. And yeah, I always have a blast. So I just go and by myself. I'm one of those people though, like I'll talk to anyone, so I just end up making friends with people anyway. Sometimes I'll catch up with some friends. But yeah, it's just cool going to the city and going to like a different suburb each time and just sort of exploring stuff you haven't seen or you haven't checked out for a while. Yeah. I knew it was a Beastie Boys reference, but yeah, I couldn't remember what the Beastie Boys video was, so I didn't get the link like you said with the cops. I just know the song. But yeah, when it said I can't stand it, I knew you planned it. Like on the back, I knew that was Beastie Boys. Hmm. I've got a feeling the guy that does their can artwork is mates with one of my mates. He does a lot of like Melbourne beer stuff. And they even used to have a craft beer magazine in Melbourne venues. You'd just walk in and it'd just be sitting on the tables for anyone to read. And he used to do the artwork for like the whole magazine. Pretty cool, pretty clever dude. Oh yeah, cool. Yeah, I don't mind going to gigs by myself. See, people always say to me, "How do you just piss off and go to things by yourself?" And it's like, well, I have to travel so far to get to half the shit. So it's like most people aren't going to want to come with me anyway because I don't know, like it's a lot of effort to travel like 2 hours just to go to some bars and shit, especially if you're a person that's not really into beer like I am. And I don't know, I see something cool in just enjoying your own time and being able to just do your own thing and not having to, I don't know, sort of worry about others. All I know is that, yeah, I'm one of those people, I'm just go, go, go. So when I go to the city by myself, I get so much done. Whereas if I go with someone, they sort of hold me back. It's like, oh no, I want to stay here for a few hours. It's like, nah, fuck that. Let's go get a beer somewhere else. Let's go do this. Like, yeah, exactly. And like it's a good way to build contacts as well because you end up talking heaps to like staff and like I've met some great friends just by doing that sort of shit. Yeah, it's like some people get really weird about going to like a cafe or a restaurant and sitting by themselves, and it's like, fuck, I do that shit all the time. I couldn't give a fuck what people think. Who cares if you're just sitting there enjoying like a fucking awesome steak and veggies and you're sitting by yourself? Like, if you're sitting there enjoying it and you're smiling, having a beer and loving it, like, who cares? And yeah, as I said, when you go to bars and breweries by yourself, if you're an outgoing person like I am, you fucking end up talking to nearly everyone there anyway. So like, you never feel like you're alone. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. It's cool. Until they turn out to be some real whack job. I had one instance. Where was I? I was at a brewery somewhere in Melbourne, and I must have had a fair few. Oh yeah, yeah. I had very little time, and I was going to a couple of breweries, and then I was going to a gig. I think I was going to see the Darkness in Melbourne. So I went to a couple of breweries. I was only going down to Melbourne that one day. Actually, I was sleeping there that night, but I only had limited time to go to a few breweries before I went to the event. And I was like, I'm going to a gig. I'm going to smash it up. Let's have a fair crack. And I went to this brewery, right? And I was just talking to the bar staff there, and I had a fair few drinks, but I was fine. And then I went to this other bar, and this guy walks in, and he goes, "Oh, don't you think you should take it easy if you're going to that concert tonight?" I'm like, "What the fuck are you talking about? Who the fuck are you?" And he goes, "Oh, I was at the brewery you were at earlier today, and like you were smashing a heap of beers and talking about how you're going to that gig tonight, and I'm going to that gig too." And I'm like, I couldn't give a fuck what you think. It's like I'm in Melbourne, like for the day. I can do whatever the fuck I want. He's like, "Oh, I'm going to go home and I'm going to have a shower and I'm going to do this and that." And I'm like, "Go away, mate." And he kept like looking at me the whole night, like. And I ended up because like I'm good friends with Andrew as in miscellaneous. So I messaged him and I said, "Oh, this fucking whack job's creeping me out." And he's going, "Oh, get out of there, quick, get out of there." Yeah. It was just like just the way he said it. It was just like real rude. If he had said it as a joke sort of thing and laughed, and then I probably would have been like, "Oh yeah, fair call." But he just sort of said it real seriously. Like I'm like, "What are you, my fucking dad?" Like because I just felt like he was very socially awkward. Like he didn't know how to sort of talk to people properly. And then just the fact that he kept sort of looking at me, I was just like, "Nah, this guy's weird as fuck." Cheers, Bob. I could possibly be close to where you are on the weekend. I'm thinking about doing a bit of a West Side day where I might go get like some Asian cuisine for lunch, maybe a cafe for breakfast, and then, yeah, some like bars and breweries and stuff throughout the day, and then come home. Maybe just deciding yet, but when I do my little adventures in Melbourne, I love going to different sort of areas of Melbourne. And I haven't done sort of like Footscray and Yarraville and like that sort of area for a while. So I thought that'd be pretty cool. See what happens. I've been watching this guy called TJ, and he does a lot of like Melbourne suburban stuff and checks out sort of the shitter areas of Melbourne. Talks about whether he thinks they're safe or not. And then he like goes and gets feeds, and yeah, like he's really cool to watch. And it makes you want to sort of look around where he's going. Yeah, for sure. Whenever I go to Footscray, I always go to Mr. West. It's one of my favourite bars there. I haven't been to Hop Nation Brewery for a while. That's always good. I've been to a few Vietnamese bakeries there, but I was thinking about maybe doing Thai food. Um, I've done a few African restaurants. I don't know. African food's sort of good. It's different, but I just don't enjoy it as at that same level that I do with like Thai and Vietnamese, and it's sort of like a if you're gonna do an African restaurant too, I think it's like something you got to do as a group because you like sit there and sort of eating with your hands off, like yeah, it's just like a different experience. Cheers, Disco. Cheers for the quick pop in. Hope you're well, brother. Get them to brew your a delightful West Coast IPA with Columbus, Chinook, and the Cascade. Some of the seeds, the delightful seeds. So I've drank all I want to drink with that beer. I've still got a little bit left, but I want to take a photo. So that's what the can looked like again. And as the great Ginger Yeti pointed out, yeah, the cops on there. So obviously Sabotage, bit of a play on words, Sabotage, Beastie Boys song. It's even got some references from the song on the back. But yeah, I wasn't familiar with the film clip. I hadn't seen it for years. So yeah, pretty cool. So yeah, it's a 6.5% oat cream IPA. And it's by Co-Conspirators and Banks, both out of Melbourne. Score, I would probably say I'm going to go a 4.3 out of 5. It's quite enjoyable. It had some good complex flavour. I like the fact that it had some bitterness and it wasn't too like sickly sweet. Yeah, good base to it. I'll get rid of this comment. Yeah, it had like a good base. I feel like it's that sort of oat cream IPA that's would be likable for West Coast lovers like me because it's like that citrus and pine with a bit of bitterness. So yeah, if you love your Westies and you're sort of a bit over hazies, but you still don't mind having them every now and then, this sort of thing's for you. Ooh, I've got one of my many Banks caps on. Got to represent as Putty says on Seinfeld. Got to support the team. Speaking of teams, Minnesota Vikings, fucking disgraceful. Such a good season, and then to dish up that slop the last two games. I'm used to disappointment when they should play better. But anyway, I'm going. Who am I going to go for now? Probably the Bills. I don't mind the Eagles just for Josh last year. So even though Detroit are like our rivals, I still don't mind them. It'd be good to see them do well. But yeah, I'd just love to see the Bills there instead of fucking Chiefs. But yeah, what do I say? 4.3. And I'm going to wrap this up right there. As much as I want to kick on and have about 35 beers, I'm probably going to call it a night there and try and get a decent sleep. But yeah, I'm back. I've had a couple of days off the beer and off the reviews, so it's good to be back. Um, Tomorrow I will do something. I'm not sure what, but yeah, I did. What did I do today? The Four Loco and this, and I did a chug to an old New Zealand song. So yeah, thanks everyone for chiming in, and yeah, Probably around this time tomorrow, I'd say I'll do another beer review. So cheers, guys, and see you again.